Jeremy Diamond at the White House, thank you so much. Let's talk more about all of this. Jeff Mason is with us. He is a White House correspondent for Reuters. Also joining me is CNN national security analyst Samantha Vinograd. She is also a former senior advisor to the National Security Advisor under President Obama. Good to see both of you. All right, so Sam, you first. I'm wondering your reaction to this heated White House meeting, Oval Office meeting, the president taking very seriously the idea of martial law to overturn the election. What message does this send? How does this potentially even undermine national security, let alone trying to plot to overturn a free and fair election?
Fred, clearly, if it were up to President Trump, we wouldn't be a democracy anymore. His behavior sounds like the death throes of a tyrant. If this was happening in any other country, the National Security Advisor and the President of the United States would be working the phones to tell a foreign leader the cost of such behavior and to urge him or her to stop it. No democracy supporting president would allow himself to be exposed to these ideas, let alone entertain them. No patriotic president would allow himself to be surrounded by such dangerous nonsense peddlers. And furthermore, Fred, any president who actually cared about the American people would be actually working right now. We're combating the COVID-19 pandemic. We're under live attack by Russia. And we're in the midst of a transition. Trump is going out the way that he governed as a live national security threat to the homeland. And the best thing that can happen right now is for Republican lawmakers to get on the phone and tell him to knock it off.
So Jeff, I mean, is the president and his team, are they serious about this? Is this just an effort to, be talked about so that he feels relevant? Or is the president really putting real stock into this petition now to the U.S. Supreme Court, not long after the Supreme Court already weighed in once saying, there's no there in trying to overturn, undermine elections, this election that has already happened?
Well, I think there's no question with regard to the Supreme Court case that he's serious and that his team is serious. And it reflects the fact that despite several, nearly every single legal challenge that the campaign has brought to state courts and joined the Texas one that went to the Supreme Court, nearly all of those have failed. So Jeremy, I think, was right when he described this as a long shot attempt. But it is a reflection, again, of the fact that the president does not believe that he lost the election and still hopes that perhaps some of the appointees or nominees that he helped to get onto the Supreme Court will back him now.
Even former Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton reacted to this notion of martial law. This is him earlier today.
At least a few national security advisors have read the Constitution. Look, this is appalling. There's no other way to describe it. It's unbelievable, almost certainly completely without precedent. But I think it's important to understand this is just another day at the office at the Oval. This is just another day at the office.
Sam, even if it goes nowhere, except for the fact it was, swirling conversations taking place, how do you see that some damage has been done, even the president entertaining the idea of martial law?
Well, I think Trump will go down in history as a U.S. president who, again, did not support democracy and who likes to be surrounded by unhinged conspiracy theorists. That's his legacy. I think the world is starting to tune Trump out, though. I think that the world acknowledges that there will be a peaceful transfer of power in January and is frankly paying more attention to what President-elect Biden has to say. At this point, one of the safest things that we can do, whether it's on COVID-19, our elections, or this Russian cyber attack, is ignore the sitting president and look for Congress to certify the results of the election in early January, for the inauguration on January 20th, and for a democracy-minded president to come into office on January 20th.
Jeff, is this what the next 31 days is going to look like? I mean, just every day there's going to be something said or done by the president or some of his supporters to make sure that January 20th doesn't happen?
Probably. I mean, it's hard to predict what is going to happen with the president and what his legal team and his other advisors are going to do. I do think it's worth noting that there are others in the White House who are moving on, senior and junior staff who are looking for jobs. And the fact that some of these advisors in the Oval Office discouraged him from some of the moves that he was considering is also worth noting. But in general, Fred, I think the answer to your question is yes. The president is going to continue to consider these options. He's going to continue to come up with ideas or ways that he can cast doubt on the election, cast doubt on the legitimacy of President-elect Biden's presidency, and see what he can do to hold on to power.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting confluence. It's laughable, it's sad, and it's all still very dangerous too. Jeff Mason.
I'll just throw in at the end. I mean, it's also, I think some people see it as a shame for his legacy because he could be focusing on the vaccine right now. He could be focusing on things that his supporters at least wanted him to do during these 4 years, but he's not doing that.
Yeah. All right, Jeff Mason, Samantha Vinograd, we'll leave it there for now. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So as the president does work to try to overturn the election, Moderna is begging